Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Decks, the series where I show you a pretty good deck that'll help you get into a higher ranking on Master Duel. I don't know, I haven't done this in a while. We've been out of doing these for probably a couple of months now. Yeah, it's been like, last one was in October, mainly because making decks on Master Duel has just gotten a lot harder, and there hasn't been as much that was good to play. But there was a reason for me to come back to it in a slightly different format from usual, because I took part in the MCS, the Master Circuit series, hosted by MBT, the Duel Logs, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, and TCG Player. And I did okay. I did 45th place in the 256 person tournament. I did 5-3, so I had 5 wins, 3 losses. And that's with 6 lost coin tosses and infinite lost fucking maxi mini games. I lost every single one. Not once did I stop a maxi from resolving, and not once did I resolve a maxi. We had the odds were against us, and we still managed to get out with a 5-3 record, only losing on that third match, putting us completely out of contention for top cut when we had the last round. I was hyped, and we just couldn't do it. But I wanted to show off the deck. People did request it. I had a couple of requests, and I wanted to show off what I was doing. In particular, I just wanted to show, because this is a branded build. It is based partially on the branded Blue Eyes build I made for Pretty Good Decks like a while ago. And that deck was fun, but this deck is good. Like branded with Eyes of Blue is like fun and playable, which is as playable as Blue Eyes will ever be, I think. But this deck is good. Like, this is good. And I think you could probably tweak the build. I am planning on tweaking the build a little bit. But yeah, I think there's like, I want to show what I have is basically what I'm saying. But yeah, first up we have 3 Despian Tragedy. I've seen people play 2. I wanted to play 3. And I just like having Despian Tragedy around, especially when we have things like Super Poly. Well, not Super Poly, but branded opening really is the key. Branded opening, or my good friend Lubellion. I just like discarding this motherfucker. And this card was crazy against the Ishizu cards. So the Ishizu cards are newly out. This card does so much for us against Ishizu, because, against Ishizu, but also against the Runics. Runics banish face up. This card gets banished. Then we get to add Aluber to hand, you know? Basically most of the matches I had today were Ishizu or Runic. So all day I was getting Tragedy ads off of my opponent's card effects. And the same goes for Mercurier, actually. We'll get to Mercurier later, but we're of course playing the 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Max C. I said that in the wrong order. And 2 Called By for the Max C minigame. I was considering playing Crossout, but I really like 5 negates. Like, mathematically speaking, 5 is like the optimum number for a specific type of card, and 5 negates for Max C is like perfect. You get 1 in hand, generally speaking, and then 3 Max C is the max we can play, and there's really no card that does Max C. Like, there's no card that is like Max C, so we just play 3, obviously. But yeah, 5 is just really nice. And like, when I was playing 6, I was testing with 6. I only built this deck immediately after I signed up for the tournament, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to test, and I haven't had a whole lot of time playing this format either, is the other thing. I stopped playing Master Duel like on a regular basis when I stopped making pretty good decks on a regular basis. So this deck is kind of, I think this deck is, I think it's good. It's just, I think there's also an element of that to it, where it's like, I was having to research these cards ahead, like on a tight schedule, and I didn't get to play test very much. And I think I probably made a couple of misplays. I know there was one play I did which was a misclick, not a misplay, which was very unfortunate. We'll get to that later, I suppose, because I want to move right on. But yeah, mathematically speaking, I just really like the 5 instead of the 6, and the cross-out just wasn't doing it for me in testing. We have 2 edge imp chain. I really want to go up to 3 on this. We got screwed over so many times on edge imp chain, on not being able to resolve our 3 Fright for Patchwork, because we're only running the 2 edge imp chain. Just got screwed on it so many times. I really want to go up on it. I don't know if we'd take out a card for it or if we just play 41 cards. But yeah, I think a 3rd edge imp chain is probably good. Fairy Tale Snow. This is our only light target, unfortunately, which is yeah, it was our only light target, which I think not actually a very good decision. I feel like there should be another light target, maybe comedy. Like maybe we replace one of these tragedies with a comedy. For another light target. I believe comedy is a light target. Let me check real quick. I'm not editing this shit. Fuck that. No, it's a dark. I genuinely don't know what you would put here as a light target, but something. I mean, I guess you could just put another Fairy Tale Snow in. Why is this card not limited? Hey, why is this card not banned? But why is this card not limited? It's not even very good for branded either, is the thing. Like, it definitely came up, don't get me wrong, but it takes a while for it to come up because we don't build up our graveyard as fast as other decks do. It takes us a bit to get to the 7 cards I'm willing to banish to activate Fairy Tale Snow. Longer than a lot of other decks do. So it's like not even like that good, but it definitely comes up. I wouldn't go without it, that's for sure. And I don't know what the light target would be otherwise. Like, I'm genuinely having trouble thinking of like a second light target that's not Snow. I don't know. Maybe you can think of something in the comments. Tell me. Fallen of Albaz, we're playing 2. That's basically been decided upon as the optimum number. I mean, obviously a good send target, but you know, obviously he has his super poly effect as well on field. And I attempted to use it a couple of times, but it was mostly in situations where I'm trying to bait out a negate, honestly. It really works well for baiting out negates because it forces them a lot of times. But I got screwed on some of the boards I had to go up. Because again, I lost 6 of my 8 coin tosses. So I really got screwed on some of those end boards I had to go up against. We're playing 2 Aluber, which is, you know, as many as possible. If we could play 3, we would, obviously. Very good card. Gets us the branded fusion. Gets us anything else we want, if otherwise. Mercurier is a negate in hand if you have a Albaz fusion monster on field. But also, if it gets banished, like by the effect of a runic card, you get to add Fallen of Albaz or a card that, or a monster that mentions it, except for Mercurier, to your hand. Which actually came up a lot. Mercurier got banished by runic cards all the time, and we grab Albion and then get to draw another card. It was really nice. We're playing Springen's Kit. Springen's Kit did come up. Springen's Kit was actually huge for us. We were able to normal summon it, actually. We didn't have a monster on field, but we were able to normal summon it to get branded fusion to hand, putting back an errant edge imp chain, and that won us a match. We're playing Shadow Beast for Shadow Winda. Shadow Beast is our target off of Lubellion. That's what we send when we make Lubellion. It also draws us a card when it's sent, so it gives us a little bit more advantage. Unfortunately, there's no way to set it up to where you draw the card and then Lubellion activates. Really wish you could do that. Because Lubellion's discard is for cost, so the cost happens immediately, and you just can't set it up in a way where you get to draw the card and then activate Lubellion. But regardless, Winda was crazy. Winda won us several matches just on its own. I feel really bad about the Suship player that we winded and they couldn't do anything, but not too bad because they won the Maxi minigame, so I had to make Winda or die. Albion's a draw. It also, I was sending, not branded banishment. We were sending branded retribution. Branded retribution lets us get back our branded fusion. I really like that send. I can see also sending branded opening, of course, for the fusion protection, but I really liked sending retribution instead. Adel Beat 'em of Despia, I gotta be honest, this card does not feel all that great to me. Like, it's another Despia name, and that's good. I like having another Despia name. And obviously, if you get to activate its effect, it's pretty good. And we did twice. We did twice activate its effect. But man, it really just sits in your hand and does nothing for a while until you draw Polymerization. Or you discard it off of Lubellion. I have mixed thoughts about it, and I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I think you have to play it still, just because of the times it does come up, but man, I really wish I didn't have to. Harpy's Feather Duster in a runic format, awesome, very good. I had to, I think one of the most fun games I had was where I was breaking a sprite runic board, and I just completely outplayed them. It was awesome. They had set up a pretty formidable board. They had the carrot and the red, and they had the fountain, and they had a bunch of runic cards, and they had Crusadia Avramax. And I made Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Also, their sprite cards were protected by Sprite Elf, so I couldn't do anything with them. I believe we had Super Poly, and that's how we made Starving Venom. We had to make it with Gigantic Sprite, but we did make it regardless. And we copied Avramax's attack stat, and our opponent, instead of using the negate on field, went for the pop. Just pop our Venom Fusion. Venom Fusion has an effect that says if this fusion summoned card is destroyed, you can destroy all your opponent's special summon monsters. So we proceeded to destroy every card except for Avramax, because Avramax can't be destroyed by card effect. So we cleared their entire protection board, and then we Harpy's Feather Dustered and got rid of all their spell traps too. And then we branded Fusion for Mirror Jade to get rid of Crusadia Avramax. Just incredible plays. That was the best match of the game for me, in particular. Obviously, it was a misplay on their part, but we're playing, like I said, there's this Fright Fur package. We have a Royal Fright Fur Patchwork, which I still love, still adore it. I think 2 Polymerization is still fine. It's really the edge up chain I want to go up on, not the Polymerization. Either that or maybe go down on Fright Fur Patchwork, but I like 3 Fright Fur Patchwork. I like being able to see it consistently, because that extra Polymerization to make Masquerade the Tax Dragon is just so primo. I love it. It's just so nice when you get to do that instead of Mirror Jade Pass. I don't like Mirror Jade Pass. It is not good enough. I don't like Winda Pass either, though, because it's boring. But got our branded fusion. Super Polymerization was nice when I saw it as a 2 of unsearchable. Not unsearchable. Technically, in our deck it's unsearchable, but I was considering playing what's his name? Keeper of Dragon Magic. I was considering playing this guy. I just decided to cut him for room, but this guy's not bad. This guy is not bad. I was considering it for sure. Yeah, there's our maxi minigame guys. Branded opening. I don't like that this card has to discard. But this was the card that caused me a misclick, a severe misclick. I had drawn 2 called by, and I wanted to activate branded opening, pitching 1 called by, and then save the other called by to set. This was against the Sun Avalon deck, and I feel like we really could, because the way they use their graveyard, I feel like we really could have interrupted one of their plays to prevent them from getting lethal on the next turn. But instead of discarding the called by, I chained the called by and activated it. Ended up doing nothing. Branded Red was nice. Honestly, I kind of want to go down on Branded Red and go up on Branded Banishment. Branded Banishment felt way more impactful for me. I think this was a much better card than Branded in Red for me in this game. Just like every time I had branded red, I was like, man, I wish this was branded banishment. It's like maybe we switch around the numbers on these for me. I don't know. And then branded retribution, we did actually activate the main effect of it once. Against it was used against Sprite Starter. Just like get that out of my face. So yeah, mostly I used it to get back my branded fusion, and it worked well for that. It's interesting though that the counter trap speed does not work in the graveyard. It's still just a regular trap in the graveyard. Very interesting how that's how the ruling works. For the extra deck, like I said, Winda won us 2 games all by itself. Just like there was nothing our opponent could do. Starving Venom won us a game by itself. Dragon Stapelli was nice. Not really much to say about that. Brigand, this guy is gone. I do not like him. He is gone. He is leaving. He is gone. The theory behind him being in here was to search Mercurier. Didn't ever do it. I just didn't ever do it. I was always sending Alba Lenatus instead to get a fusion card instead. Never sent Brigand. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it. Because it happens in the end phase, and then you get the Mercurier, and now you don't need the negate because you've made it to you're back to your turn. It's too slow. Unless you're doing it on your turn, you know, you're doing the like banish your own Aluber, and then you don't get to banish on your opponent's turn. Seems pretty bad. Playing 2 Albion, don't know why we're playing 2 Albion when we have 1 Snow. Honestly, I like 2 Albion. I wish I could have gone into Albion multiple times. What I'm saying is though, we need more light targets, and I don't know what to put in. So again, if you have suggestions for more light targets, maybe more Fairy Tail Snow. I don't know how that really helps us exactly. Like, I guess if our Fairy Tail Snow gets banished, we'd have another one come in. But Masquerade Dragon did a lot of work for us, especially when it came to the one match where he went into time. Obviously, Masquerade really big help in time. I wish we had 2. I will be getting rid of Brigand and in favor of a Masquerade Dragon. Definitely. Much better card. And there was definitely a situation where I wish I'd gone into a second one. I could have gone into a second one. Mirror Jade, just, I don't even need to say it, just a good card. Lubellion, 2 of this one, you know, we can send Shadow Beast, we can send Tragedy, just good. The main problem with it is that the discard cost, sometimes you just don't have it. Which is why we need more light targets for Albion. Because we need to be able to make Albion sometimes instead of Lubellion. Alba Lenatus, I was never making this. I was always sending this to get its effect. I don't think it's very good on the field, frankly. I get why you would, because it has the contact fusion stuff. But I really liked the other effect to just get a polymerization or fusion spell. Guardian Chimera, we made this guy, it got negated. But he was just a big bungus, and that helped a lot. Proskinion did not make this fucker, not playing this ever again, getting this out of here. I don't even know what we replaced it with, but literally anything else would be better than this. Never made this, just awful. I don't know what convinced me to play this. I saw people playing it, and I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, well, I convinced myself into such a bad play with this one. I never played it. I mean, the bad play was putting it in the deck in the first place. I think part of what convinced me is the fact that it's an R. You might notice my UR dust is a little low. And then we had Verte. Never made Verte, but the option being there I think is actually important. You can make it fairly convincingly, and then it can activate Branded Fusion from deck. Which, definitely a good one. It's definitely a good card. Definitely should be banned. I wouldn't get rid of that one. I would definitely get rid of Proskinion and Brigand. I think I would get rid of Proskinion first before I get rid of Brigand. First, actually. So like, I get rid of this one for Masquerade. And then if we find something else to replace Brigand with, we do that. Technically, Brigand is another thing we can go into. off of Albat, like branded fusion, if we run out of targets. But doesn't really do anything on the field, so no reason to. But yeah, this is what the I came up with for the branded deck, and that's my thoughts on it. We didn't run into much trouble against Runic Sprite. Actually, Runic Sprite we actually were able to handle pretty easily, even when going second. Their inability to do damage to us really hurt them, I think, because we were able to do damage like a lot. That's why we won in time against one of them. It's like they weren't able to do damage and we were, and that really helped us. I mean, I don't even need to say Sous Ships didn't do anything to us, but Winda really killed that deck. What really killed us was actually regular Sprite with like frogs. That did us in just because of the pure repetition of the Sprite stuff. And then at one point we just didn't draw enough monsters. We draw so many spells and one Aluber, it just wasn't enough to do anything with so many interruptions. It was against Sprite Prank Kids. It was like a Prank Kids Sprite adventure deck. Really sick, honestly. And it just put up so many interactions that we couldn't deal with them all. They had Wandering Griffin Rider, they had I think they had Carrot, or maybe they had Red. Either they had one of them, and they had Battle Butler. They had Dracosack. Not Dracosack. Draco back. God damn. I'm tired. This was the tournament was today. It is currently, so I'm still burnt out from that, but it's also like several hours later. It's like 1:30 a.m. right before the time change. So it's gonna be 3 a.m. in like 30 minutes, despite it being 1:30 right now. Fuck that, by the way. But yeah, this is my branded list. Obviously, much improved from the branded with Eyes of Blue deck, but not as interesting, I don't think. Especially Winda. I don't think Winda is very interesting at all, but it is really good, so it's hard to say no, frankly. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and like, share, and subscribe, because I forgot to say that. And have a nice rest of your day, whatever time it is for you. Bye.